Distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored to be here with you today to deliver this Goodwill message on behalf of UNDP Nigeria. Let me begin by thanking the Impact Investors Foundation for taking the lead in bringing together thought leaders to this distinctive event as we strategize on financing Nigeria's sustainable development priorities. The challenges of today are global and multifaceted, but inequalities amongst countries implies that some countries are affected more significantly than others. Like Nigeria, several developing countries are yet to fully ascertain the extent of the social and economic disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and now the war in Ukraine. These are characterized by increasing levels of poverty, inflation, rising food prices, energy crisis, supply chain disruptions, climate change, among others, as we all witness here in Nigeria as well. More so, the climate crisis cannot be overlooked as 34 out of 36 states in Nigeria are currently affected by floods, which have displaced an estimated 1.3 million people and destroyed lives and livelihoods across the country. Additionally, a deeper look at the food insecurity currently ravaging the country reveals a hunger crisis attributed mainly to inconsistent rainfall patterns, insecurity, after effects of the pandemic-related shocks and disruptions to supply chains due to the war in Ukraine, as I explained earlier. The urgency, therefore, for a forum like this cannot be overstated. It is estimated that the global financing gap to achieve the SDGs, the Agenda 2030 that UN promotes, is staggering. $4.2 trillion globally, which has increased by 70% since the pandemic. In Nigeria, as I said yesterday, the financing gap to achieve these goals is $10 billion a year, which I am sure has increased since the pandemic. Now, IMF estimates that additional spending equivalent to 18% of GDP by 2030 will be required to achieve the SDG targets in health, education, electricity, road and water and sanitation sectors alone. What it means is that significant efforts are required to fill this gap. And unfortunately, there are restrictions or limitations for the government to undertake that initiative. So this is where the private sector comes in. Against this backdrop, that financing local solutions to social impact become critical for sustainable growth. Mobilizing both public and private capital towards impact-focused ventures has the potential to increase productivity, generate employment, reduce poverty, and contribute substantively towards the achievement of the Agenda 2030 for sustainable development. It is in this regard that we are having this deal event. Yesterday, we had wonderful discussion, constructive discussion on the impact investments, looking at challenges and also opportunities. But here today, we are trying to bridge that gap in terms of bringing the investors who can finance the potential investments in Nigeria. We at UNDP support this process by operationalizing the Addis Ababa Action Agenda. In fact, this support to these impact investments is part of that broader Addis Ababa Action Agenda, where we also support the government through the Impact Integrated National Financing Framework and also inclusive insurance initiatives. I want to reiterate that UNDP will continue to support both the public and private sectors to mobilize and align financing to address this country's unique challenges, as well as enormous opportunities you have to accelerate the progress towards achieving the SDGs. I hope you were successful in the event. Thank you very much.